Oh, right on say, how are you all? This day for a day is no time to exist. Perfect. We will begin today with questions.
Sure, I'd like to further address the idea of placing a concept in the past or start of a cycle in the past that materializes in the present. I found, again, that I was very excited about this idea when it was first created, but the degree of workability that I've been able to pull off in it has not been up to my satisfaction.
What? Now, first of all, realize that with any idea or technique, as you say, too, that you will allow yourself to become aware of. There will simply be, I'll say for the most part, simply the idea of becoming aware of the tool itself, rather than the necessary implementation of that idea. The awareness of all the different tools being, in and of itself, a tool. You follow me?
I do.
Not that any one of them specifically must be exactly the way that you need to function in that sense, but that by becoming more and more aware of all the different ways that there is to accomplish any reality, you may simply allow yourself then, in that sense, to relax and allow the reality to unfold in and of itself. Follow me?
Yes. So that the various tools will change.
Yes.
As you progress.
Follow your excitement.
Makes sense.
They will always tell you, in that way, your levels of excitement, exactly where and when you need to shift your attention in that sense. What you're identifying with, what idea you are vibrating towards, as I'll say, more of the unfoldment of your awareness of yourself. It is very simple.
Right.
Thank you.
Is it a good idea to ask oneself, what should I do next, or what tool should I use?
You may, as a tool, yes, use your imagination. You'll find if you allow yourself to address yourself in that way, that you may, I'll say, receive an image from yourself very easily.
Excellent. Thank you, Bashar.
Question.
Do emotions go in a scale, like from apathy up to excitement?
If you put them there. If you create a scale, understand that each and every emotion, again, is valid for the expression of that emotion. But understand that there are those ideas which you consider to be emotions, which in that sense are really not. They are artificial in that sense, in that you pass your real emotions through your screen of judgment. You follow me?
Yeah.
In that sense, what you're going to be the idea of hope, what you're going to be, I'll say, hatred or rage, jealousy, apathy are not real emotions. They are manifestations which are passed through your judgment screen.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yeah. What are real emotions and what are the ones?
Those that always manifest the idea in and of themselves of, I'll say, positive reaffirmation or realignment with your centering of self, with who you know yourself to be. They always leave you clear-sighted and, I'll say, more aware of the path before you that you have chosen. They always allow you to center right in the middle of yourself. You follow me? Therefore, your idea expressed as anger, when allowed to be the true emotion of anger, I'll say in that sense, the passage of which will also endure 10 to 15 of your seconds, then you'll understand it will leave you with the idea that you call resolve. Rather than hatred, or frustration, or rage.
And when any of those feelings stay, it's because you're looking at something through judgment yourself, most likely.
Yes. But again, do not judge your judgment. Understand that you have created that idea for yourself. Allow it to be explored. Allow yourself to experience it. Allow yourself to walk down that path. And you will always find then that you walk through the judgment. If you walk. Question.
Bashar, about 3 of these Sundays ago, you were talking about the dreaming, imagination, and the physical world all being tied in or all being the same thing.
Yes.
And that sometimes people don't dream because they're living their dream.
Sometimes.
Okay, now, one of the experiences that I've been having is not being able to dream and wanting to dream, or not having that sensation or feeling.
All right.
Is there anything on that plane as far as technique or drill or something that one can utilize to get more into that?
All right, now first of all, allow me to stress once again. Understand the great, I'll say, diversity and, in that sense, knowingness that can come from that very simple idea you call imagination. Realize how versatile it is, how multidimensional it will reveal you to be to yourself. Understand that you can again exercise what you have previously considered to be fantasy and form for yourself a sort of, I'll say, story or fiction in your imagination that will allow you to feel right about the idea of approaching what you wish. In other words, if you sit down and assume that you wish, as you say, to, I'll say, remember in that way your dreams, then you may use your imagination to imagine how that would be possible for you. Allow yourself to resonate with the feeling that is correct for you. Allow yourself to tell yourself the story that feels like your story of getting to that idea. You may find that you could sit down in, I'll say, the side of your bed. You may talk to your, I'll say, dream consciousness. You may say, dream consciousness, I have not been in touch with you lately on a conscious level. Now, why do you suppose that might be? I have something, I'll say, to find out from you. Do you think it is necessary for me to remember your dream? Now, you may get an answer in your imagination. Allow yourself to explore, but understand it will not really matter exactly the conversation that takes place, only that you are willing to do the exploring, and in so doing, releasing yourself, if there is judgment, from that judgment, and allow yourself then, I'll say, to be, I'll say, in that state of vibration, well, you will remember the dream in that sense. Do you follow me?
Yes.
Allow yourself to play. Play.
Yeah.
Realize that one of the other reasons for, I'll say in your terms, not remembering the dreams will be simply the idea of tension. A focus upon your physical reality as being more real than the dream reality. More real than playing. No time to play. No time to play. I'm busy. Follow me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bashar, I find in my phrase, that I find often my taste buds seem to be in treason with the rest of my system. Meaning that I enjoy eating things that often are bad for the body or considered to be bad for the body. And I'm not sure, I guess what I'm trying to do is find out why do I enjoy eating so much ice cream when it's supposed to be so bad for the body?
Now, understand that you have a combination idea in the sense that you understand it is all right to enjoy yourself, but also, I'll say, you are combining that idea with the, I'll say, feeling that you have that the reality that you wish to unfold, you are not doing what you are waiting to do.
Yes.
Now, understand again the idea of convenience of the parallel, I'll say, simile within your language. You are waiting.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Yeah, I got it all over.
Understand, therefore, that by doing, you will no longer be waiting.
Yes. And I know that, and yet I hold myself from doing.
Why?
I wish I knew. I'm not quite certain. I'd like
Talk
to find
to yourself.
Okay.
Talk to your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Understand, you may also, in that way, talk to your judgment self. You may talk to your ego self. You may talk to any portion of yourself that you know yourself to contain. They are all you. They are all right there for you. You may have conversations with any portion of them that you wish. Any time that you wish. In a very playful way that you wish. Understand that by allowing yourself to play with yourself in that way, you are, I'll say then, forming the habit of understanding how to play when forming your idea.
Beautiful. I'll have some conversations and let you know.
All right. Always. Play. Enjoy. All right.
I think, then I judge that because I go, well, my income didn't go up. I had a lot of fun.
Right. But again, yes. Realize one is not contingent upon the other. If you make it so, then you will always exclude one in favor of the other. You will always be forming a dichotomy.
Ooh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Question.
Bashar, when I look at the concept of parallel universes as compared to the physical universe, moving to a parallel universe, I always see it as more of an advancement, more of a crystalline state, a better way of existing.
Not really.
No,
Not always.
that was my question then. Is there an opposite direction from this?
Now, again, understand we are not discussing the idea of right and wrong or opposites or better or worse. More or less, advanced or not. Simply different. What you choose to vibrate to is the parallel universe that you allow yourself to create or perceive in that sense. Understand that all these universes exist simultaneously. It is simply what facet of yourself connected to that universe that you choose to look through. You follow me?
Yes.
In many cases, simply the idea will be simply different. In your terms of better or worse will be the same, just different.
So it's a judgment factor again.
In a sense, that will promote the idea of the vibration of the idea, the equality of that idea to yourself, and therefore what universe you perceive. Now realize in very many ways, you are passing through a whole series of parallel universes in that way, sometimes many times a day, if you allow yourself to. Depends upon you.
Interesting. Well, you know, in the last, I'd say, month and a half, my affinity for this physical universe has come up tremendously. Something I've never experienced before. I mean, I've always enjoyed it, but I really enjoy it now.
Very good. But again, understand that there really is no need to distinguish the difference between what you term to be physical and non-physical universe. Simply different aspects. Understand that each and every one of what you term to be those parallel universes are to the inhabitants in that sense, to the consciousness perceiving themselves in that way, also physical.
Oh, okay, yeah. Good.
Question.
Okay. Okay. The difference between the physical universe and the imaginary, the speed of things taking place. I notice in my own universe is much faster in my imagination or the non-physical universe. Is that basically a judgment?
No, really. It is because that the idea, or one of the ideas, which forms the idea of the physical universe is the separation of self, and therefore also the creation of what is going to be time, which does not occur in the, I'll say, imagination of reality.
Right, okay.
Therefore, as you will exist in that level, as you will upon what you term to be physical death, as a thought form within a world of thought forms, any thought that you have instantly becomes your reality. You follow me?
Yeah.
The same idea occurs here, only because you have, I'll say, imposed the idea of time, it then seems to take a little longer. You follow me?
Okay. So then the shift into what you mentioned last Monday about going into the fourth dimension, that shift is that seems to indicate to me like moving out of the physical more and into the other more.
In a sense, it is simply not moving out of anything, it is blending them all together. Okay. Understand simply that you are, I'll say, in your terms, taking advantage of the timelessness of your imagination to allow for, I'll say, the reality of that existence that you wish to exist right now, and therefore allowing the physical unfoldment to take as little time as is physically possible.
So the shifts in time that I'm noticing, I'm losing a lot of time. I've lost a lot of time over the last couple of weeks.
All right, have not lost anything?
No, but I mean, I've not concentrated on it day-to-day, hour-to-hour, like...
All right, yes, very good. You are blending your, in a sense, time and non-time sense.
Okay, good.
Question.
Bashar?
Yay?
I've noticed something that may be similar, but it seems quite different to me, and I thought I'd reflect off you and see what you think to me about it. All right. It has to do with this idea of moving fast and of time. Lately, over the past few weeks, I've found that I've been sleeping a lot more and haven't really been seemingly accomplishing much of anything in the physical universe, but it's been very active somewhere for me. You know, I've been very active.
Realize there will be those periods of time where you will be doing much of your work in that way, in the dream reality, from time to time. But again, when you allow yourself not to place judgment upon the idea, then you can understand what you are perceiving to be an interruption to be a part of the process, and allow yourself to gain the effect within your physical reality. You will re-emerge according to your own pendulum swing, according to your own cycle in that way, and then you will, in that sense, reap the manifestation of your automatic unfoldment with, again, an ecstatic explosion of what is going to be coincidence.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Another thing. Last night we had a plan that turned into a spontaneous party, which was quite wonderful. And I was thoroughly into the party and creating the party and had a wonderful time. And then later I noticed that, like when I got home and also this morning, that I had disconnected somehow from what I've been doing for the past month, like the momentum and the direction that I was going in and everything, I just seemed to, like, for a span of time, really disconnect from that. And it had me a little bit concerned for a while, and then...
Just quite natural.
Is it? Okay. It seemed like a rest point or something.
All right, an assimilation point. A collection point. A gathering of yourself together. Understand that in many cases this is what you term to be depression, but when you become, I'll say, judgmental of your depression, it turns into a negative idea. Understand simply that the idea of depression is withdrawing to the place you know the answers to be, rather than outside yourself, which is only an illusion in that sense.
I didn't feel the least depressed. I felt quite wonderful. It just seemed like it was like a real different reality for a time.
Very good. It still is. Understand that that, in and of itself, is a transformation from one parallel idea to another. You follow me? That disconnection is the disorientation, the unlocking from one reality into another reality, the shifting from idea to idea.
You're right. Okay, I got that. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Understand, in that way, we now perceive that we are speaking to a different facet of your personality than previously we were.
Okay.
You follow me? Thank you.
Bashar, what happened that you and the association could finally give us this data about the negative influence of Orion last Monday? What occurred that you could finally tell us that?
First of all, several ideas. I'll say primary of which will simply be that we will now perceive you in that way to understand fully. Whether sometimes you would like to play so or not, that you have complete understanding of freedom of choice. As of this moment, in other words, you have begun to understand that practice time is over. And that what you have chosen to live, what idea you have chosen to vibrate to, will now allow you to understand simply that you are no one's victim. And that you may then understand the idea of what is come to be positive and negative energy with respect to many different individuals or consciousnesses who choose to express either of those ideas within the universe of all that is. Simply understand that as you have on your planet, allow yourself from time to time to vibrate to what you term to be the negative energy, then there will be the association at this time with some portion of that negative energy of other civilizations who choose also to express that negative energy in that way. But simply understand that there may be, I'll say again, the idea that you are no one's victim, that you cannot be influenced nor forced in that way to participate along those lines if you do not choose to. But again, understand simply that the idea at this time will be that there is more and more connection with all the different, I'll say, portions of your own mass consciousness, which now allows for the recognition of the connections of all the other mass consciousness in communication with you at this time, and therefore there can be, in that way, a more open assimilation of the communication of the mass consciousness, and therefore a recognition of all the different levels of, I'll say, mass consciousness, which are in communication with you, positive and negative, at this time. Do you follow me so far?
Yes.
Understand, therefore, that simply, if you feel the idea as has been expressed again, that you are fearful that there is also a communication or contact from what you perceive to be negative idea or influence, understand simply that by offering that individual or that consciousness your love and light and the expression that you recognize their greeting as simply one of the different ways that all that is has of expressing themselves, then you will be, I'll say, allowing them the opportunity to share your reality in that way. And allow me to say, then there will be simply the twofold choice that they will be given by you. Simply that they will either, I'll say, choose in that way to accept that reality by perceiving that reality within you in a positive way and therefore become positive in and of themselves in that sense and therefore not affect you negatively, or they will choose to remain within the negative idea, but in that you are sending them love and light and a reflection of your own positive reality, they will withdraw, and as such you will still be left with a positive effect. Thank you. Question?
Sure.
Yes.
I feel like ever since Monday night, I've been feeling a lot of negative emotions and sometimes creating situations that allow me to feel that, and other times I don't need a situation, I just feel it anyway.
I understand that to some degree again. Since our civilization contains both of these ideas, they are still on the threshold of exploring certain ideas of choice. Now simply understand that as you are aware that you can choose whatever you wish, again, you may allow yourself to simply know that that does not mean you are in that way, I'll say, forced to choose the negative idea, simply that you may now explore the idea in all confidence that you already know exactly the positive choices that you really wish for your reality. And you may simply then recognize the idea and integrate that negativity within yourself in a way that you can reflect the positive idea to those consciousnesses reflecting the negative idea, and so then send them that love and light, which will increase the overall, I'll say, understanding of the positiveness of all that is from your own reality. Do you follow me?
Yes, I do. I get into a whole thing with Steph on Wednesday night about connections there, and I wondered if you could like elaborate on it or clear it up or whatever.
Now understand that you are already clearing it out. That is why you are allowing yourself in that way to explore the idea in a physical, I'll say, slightly manifested form. Otherwise, you would not feel it would be safe to do so. You follow me?
Yes, I understand that. Are the channel and I counterparts?
Not as you understand the term, no.
Okay, thank you.
Question.
Bashar, I too was there Monday night and went through quite a lot of emotional twists and turns, but everything kept coming out very positive. And then last night was such a fantastic flow, and the whole thing seemed that I'm just so feel so great. It's just like I'm in a state of being great at all times now. It's just a continuous positive flow for me. And it's been a great experience always. And I just want to thank you for it.
Oh, thank you very much for allowing yourself to share within the all that is you. Question. All right.
I had an experience this past week which was nice, and I want to share it.
All right.
I had an opportunity to partake of and be a part of and experience a totally different idea. And the idea was one that actually is coexisting right now and on this planet in this time and space with the idea that we are experiencing here. And I know that I have a connection there and a part of that, and also of this one. And what I was able to do was to see the sort of the entirety of what that idea represents. And I was able to flow with a tremendous amount of love and support. And then I realized that when I did that, it was myself that I was flowing it to a certain degree because I was a part of that idea. And so that was a rather wonderful experience.
Very good. Again, understand that always, we always, no matter what, love you all. But also understand that in that way, we are very, I'll say, joyful of your willingness to allow yourself to recognize your portion of all that is as yourself.
I have another statement.
All right.
This has to do with something that I realized, it's been happening for a couple of days, and it just sort of came together for me.
Just sort of.
No, it came together, thank you. In listening to and talking to various individuals of this group, I realized that each one of us is an idea incarnate at this time and place.
Good.
And that we are each unfolding as we're supposed to. And that was quite a wonderful revelation.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Question.
Bashar, I have been experiencing a tremendous amount of unfolding in the last year. I am experiencing it so fast that I have a desire to fine-tune more so that my communications are clearer. I keep getting more and more awarenesses and glimpses, and I'm curious, is there a way to fine-tune? Is there a way to look more specifically so that my direction is more clear?
Yes. Keep on living just as you are. Keep on unfolding. Each unfoldment will bring, in and of itself, more awareness of the overall idea of the unfoldment. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
Life is the only process that you need. All right, then you are doing everything that you need to be doing exactly as you are doing it.
That's good to know. Is there a place better than one, or is my existence non-dependent on where I'm at?
Very good. Since everything that exists within you, where else can you go?
Well, that's a good point.
Thank you. Question.
I have a question again about last Monday night. I was transcribing some of the tape, and you had said last Monday night that the transcription should basically go out to all these different people. And I'm just curious if you are going to have anything added to it, because the what came out of Monday night, if I just transcribe that and just to a lot of people about it, because we were kind of right in the middle, and a lot of people were still in a big fear, kind of stuck in a fear thing, or it seemed to me kind of creating a big battle line for me thing, And I just was curious if you were going to
You may simply, in that sense, I'll say append, in your terminology, a title. I'll say, for your enjoyment of service to all that is. Period.
That's great.
It will suffice. Understand that every individual will, I'll say, perceive exactly what they need to perceive.
Right. Good.
Question.
Did you actually communicate what you wanted and intended to on Monday night, or the association did?
Oh, yes.
Good. Thank you.
I'd like to ask you.
No, one moment. Did you perceive exactly what you intended to and wanted to?
No, I didn't.
How do you know?
How do I know?
Realize again that exactly what you perceived is exactly what you intended to perceive. Silly that you may, I'll say, be willing to explore that idea, as opposed to assuming that you received an incomplete portion of another idea.
I feel it's complete. Actually, yeah, it is complete. I feel very much more complete with it today in that I'm looking at the concept of, what's the title, if you will, the stable datum, that what we are doing is reaffirming our power of choice by seeing all of the choices that are available, without excluding certain choices and saying, oh, there's only positives, then that, I really see that's valuable, because now we have a chance to really confirm.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I started reading this book by Ra, and there's two basic concepts that I'm going over in my mind. One is harvestable. For some reason, that word, that we're here to be harvest.
All right, now do not take the negative connotation. Understand that again, there are difficulties with translating concepts into your language.
And the idea that I got so far, and I must admit I can't understand a lot of the book, but he said that I feel that maybe the other concept of programming that occurs before this life.
Again, that is totally self-imposed. Just as your idea of karma is, in that way, self-imposed programming. To impose upon yourself certain ideas or limitations that will allow you to unfold within a certain idea of yourself.
Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll wait till the first book comes into the bookstore, because I started in the second book, and it's pretty wild.
All right, but understand one idea. You have expressed, I'll say, very well, much of the idea for which we express, I'll say, the need in this way for this singular idea of transcript to be delivered in that way to all these individuals. Simply this. Many individuals simply, again, are at a verge of allowing themselves to understand that they have complete freedom of choice. Simply understand that as you know, with your feelings, what you have felt to be, I'll say, the ideas, I'll say, in that way exchanged from us to you, about, I'll say, the complete totality of the feeling that you have freedom of choice, that the idea is completely up to you. Yet still, there will be again, I'll say, the resurrection of that fear, that, I'll say, even in the face of understanding the, I'll say, idea of love and light that goes with all that you know you have understood within the exchanges today, you still allow yourself to be caught within your words and say, well, everything I know I can throw out the window because this one word I do not understand, and it, I'll say, makes me fearful. You follow me?
Right.
Simply, now you have, I'll say, the idea that we have expressed these ideas of positive and negativeness to you. In fact, I'll say, we recognize at this time that your I'll say, mass consciousness, I'll say, is understanding to a degree within each and every one of your own single consciousnesses, that when you do that, you are really playing a game with yourself. You really do know what you have received in that way for yourself, what choices you have made for yourself, what positiveness you feel within yourself, and yet you still wish to doubt the idea in that sense.
Okay, well, let me just ask you one question. Is it true that there have not been too many people who've made it out? As far as, like...
Again, your expression is one of entrapment.
Okay, made it in or whatever, like...
Made it at all is an expression of entrapment. Made it implies that you have to make it from somewhere. That is no good.
Well, that seems to be the connotation of the book, where it's talking about going from the third to the fourth to the fifth to the sixth dimensions.
Again, this is simply an unfoldment, a process of awareness of all that is. It is not saying that one level is in and of itself better than another level. This is the idea expressed by allowing yourself to radiate love and light and acceptance and allowance of the negative side as well. And therefore, always recreating the positive side for yourself in service to all that is.
I know, but for some reason the idea that not too many people have been up or down to the point where they have been harvestable.
But again, understand that everyone exists at a level of vibration for which they feel they need to at the time. Your idea of harvestability is simply a description of the idea of transference from one understanding of self to another. Of the, I'll say, or frequent, of beingness patterns, of livability in that sense, and when you, I'll say, intersect those transformational doorway patterns that you have created, then there will simply be the enactment of the, I'll say, attuning of whatever vibration you are at into the reality that you are vibrating of.
So would it be better to say, because we tend to think in numbers and those numbers go up, that you could just as well say 5, 5, and 5, and each one of those would just represent a different vibration?
In a sense.
Not meaning that it would be better or worse or going up or down.
Yes, in a sense. That will at least give you, though I will say, not totally accurately expressed in the overall idea of the unfoldment, it will at least give you the idea of equality of all the different levels. Again, it is the idea of free will, which is absolutely, in your terms, inviolate.
But as time as we know it to exist, let's say from Jesus Christ to now, there have not been anyone or any spiritual beings that have been harvestable as them meeting their program that they did. Like everybody was recycled, thrown back into
Right,
the farm.
but not thrown back. Again, understand, there is no outside judgment imposed upon you. It is programmable according to the idea that that is the choice they wish to experience.
But in other words, this time, through the Atlantean, the noble Atlantean experience that made the possibility for acceleration to the densities is much more possible now.
Yes.
That's sort of what it is.
But that is your choice. Yes.
Over and out for now.
Question.
I have a comment.
All right.
And just something I'd like to communicate with you about. Lately, since we've been getting more into imagination reality, dream reality, and also the idea that you have infinite possibilities, so therefore you can simply create all those possibilities happening, and they're all as valid as your physical life, right? My physical life has become almost totally irrelevant. I just walk through life kind of laughing because I'm not doing anything, and I'm except very mundane things, like.
Right.
No, wait, I'm not judging that. I'm enjoying the irrelevant.
All right, but understand that in your terminology, irrelevant is not quite the accurate description.
Okay.
Simply you have removed the idea of needing for it to be more important than any other reality. Does not make it irrelevant.
No, right. But it has, the pendulum has kind of swung a little bit to where it's kind of like, so what the hell am I doing here? At the moment, I'm just enjoying myself, but there's...
Then that is what you are doing here.
That's what I'm doing here now. Like a couple hours ago, I wasn't enjoying myself.
But. A couple of hours ago, you were separating yourself from the idea of enjoying.
Well, no, actually, it wasn't that. It's just that at times I have, when I feel like there's going to be a change, that I'm going to create a change. And in seeking that change, you just get that, like you call the pressure to create.
Yes, but that is in and of itself enjoyable.
Yeah.
Let it be.
Right, so that's why I'm talking to you, because I love to use any tool that I can to possibly get further insight in what to do
All
now,
right.
physically,
Then continue, by all means, to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question. All right. You have the ability to. All right.
All right. I just want to say something about what she was speaking about. I totally I duplicate what she said, and I wish to elaborate on it from my own point of view.
All right.
When I was thinking earlier of talking to different people and hearing them speak and seeing that they were each an idea incarnate, I saw within joy an idea represented at this moment within the mass consciousness, which is allowing it and assisting it to unfold, and I thank her very much for that.
Very good. Understanding that way, another facet of all that is.
Okay.
Questions?
Bashar, yesterday when I was teaching, I had a particular incident happen. A student came in to take the next class, and while I was teaching, he had an epileptic seizure. And it was quite frustrating for me. I looked at the positive side of it for myself, which was I allowed that incident to assist me in feeling all these particular negative emotions without judging myself. And I was wondering if there was something else that I missed in my manifestation of that incident, and also what that means for that person, the seizure, why he manifested that for himself.
All right, now, understand this is a very multi-level idea. Simply understand, first of all, that you did not really miss anything. But also you could, also in that way, have allowed yourself to simply know that along with the exploration, the opportunity to view all the different portions of yourself, also you could know that also the positive portions of your ideas of enactment with regard to that individual in that way could also have been manifested. Understand that within the idea, therefore, of that individual relative to you, there was the expression of that idea for that individual in order for you to experience what you experienced for yourself and sharing that way. As for that individual and their own unfoldment of themselves, at this time, no information.
What about in general in people just having a happy incident?
All right, there will be, again, many ideas or levels connected, one of which will simply be, again, the idea of the choosing of that, I would say, reality, physical reality, again, for the compression of the time needed to experience a certain idea. You follow me?
You mean they sort of have to kind of like leave a certain reality in order to go experience something else and come back?
There may be that to a certain idea, but simply the idea we are expressing is that many individuals choose what you deem to be the idea of affliction, in that way to shorten the idea for themselves of what they have chosen to experience within physical time. Follow me?
So they're shortening their span, their lifespan.
Oh, not always so much the idea of the lifespan itself, but in their view, the need for further lives.
Oh, I don't get that.
All right. Many individuals will from time to time simply choose what you may consider to be a highly compacted, in your way, negative effect life, so that the view that they must experience this idea to complete their view of themselves will be experienced in such a highly dense state that they will find no need to stretch it out over 2 or 3 lives.
Oh, I see. They're trying to compact a whole bunch in one life.
Yes.
I got it. Good idea. Yeah.
Again, as we have expressed, your idea that many of these, I'll say, involvements is a downhill road. But understand, as we have expressed to you, that you go much faster downhill.
Yes. That's
That's great. I like that.
Question.
Bashar, in viewing positive ideas if one doesn't act on them but just views them and they open up and fold, but you don't do anything with them, it seems like things sort of stopped for you. I've been experiencing that. I've viewed tremendous positive openings, looked at them and went, yes, I could do those, did nothing on them, and then I seem to be in a stopped portion.
No, now realize that the stoppage was only in that you chose to simply view.
Oh. Okay.
Again, understand that if they unfolded to a certain idea, you did actively unfold them in that way. Realize it was not by, in that sense, having to try to do anything. Simply that you were doing. You were being that unfoldment to the certain point that you believe yourself, I'll say, able to unfold that idea. Then simply you gave yourself the opportunity to view all those different possibilities of unfoldment. Always, when you allow yourself to view the idea within that imagination in and of itself, that you can, again, vibrate with the idea of excitement to any one of those ideas, then you may know that you can unfold it in that way to any degree that you wish.
Thank you.
Question.
Bashar?
Yes.
In this then, I've been looking at several areas to go ahead and further my income. And most of them have been, no, not really, I don't want that, or I'm not sure of this. And then all of a sudden, there's the bright idea that this was it. Now, it's just like a flash. Could this be the thing, or is it just something that's coming in?
All right, again, understand there will never be one thing. But understand again that every moment you find yourself identifying that excitement, that vibrational equality with that idea, then if you wish to, you can manifest that idea into a total manifestation, which includes the idea of abundance as well, if that is what is necessary for your particular chosen reality.
Thank you.
But if you, again, simply allow yourself to sit and wonder about it, you will not be doing. And you will not be leading yourself towards whatever change may take place from one idea to another. You will sit and wonder.
And that was it. That it was go.
Very good. By all means, do so.
Thank you.
Question. Yes.
You've talked in the past about following what excites you and doing what excites you. What if everything excites you?
Go ahead.
What do you do?
Everything. Again, understand that. If you allow yourself simply to know that your timing is always perfect, you will always have more than enough time for the way that each and every one of those coincidental unfoldments interacts. They will always perform according to a perfectly orchestrated sense of timing. You follow me?
Okay, yeah.
Are you sure?
Explain it a little bit more.
All right. Again, simply understand that every idea is always self-contained. It will always unfold perfectly with every other idea to which you vibrate. They will never overlap in such a way that you cannot, I'll say, partake of all of them if they are all supposed to overlap and unfold.
Okay.
Therefore, your timing will always be perfect.
Okay.
If you have time for three will unfold. If you have a fourth waiting in the wing, it will unfold when it can.
Okay.
And exactly as it needs to intermesh with the other three.
Okay.
Question.
And if you have the idea that you don't have time to do any of these, you don't.
Then you will not create any opportunity.
What if you create opportunities and then you feel like you're doing too much?
Understand really that when you have that idea, you're not really doing anything in that way except allowing yourself to experience the idea of the increase of time itself or decrease of time itself. You follow me?
No.
In other words, every idea which is unfolding as exactly it can be allowed to will never afford you the opportunity to feel that you are doing too much in that way. Only when you, I'll say, put upon yourself the idea once again that you are unfolding but also do not have enough time to unfold, will you experience the idea of, I'll say, the decrease or increase of time. You follow me?
Yeah.
Each idea, again, in and of itself, is a complete reality. You follow me? There is that reality then in which you can unfold but not have enough time to enjoy anything. That is one reality. Again, understand, it is not that an idea is an imperfect part of another idea. Each idea, each scenario, each situation is in and of itself a completely separate idea. You follow me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Question?
So this whole thing of, that I get into of feeling that time is all stretched out in my physical life, that's just its own separate idea.
Yes. Understand that when you allow yourself to understand it as a separate idea, then you can understand that you can have any other idea that you wish.
I actually kind of like it.
All right. Then it will maintain as long as you do.
That's great.
Thank you. Question?
Sure. Several years ago, I studied a lot of Eastern philosophies, particularly a fellow named Yogananda. And he talked a lot about a man named Babaji, who lived in the Himalayas. Could you tell me more about Babaji? Or let me put it this way.
Got him. Question?
I wanted to ask you about something that's been coming up in my life. There's these people who grow these things in milk. And, the idea, I think, I need more data, and for some reason I can't get the data.
Why not? Why are you limiting yourself in that way? Understand that you may not be limiting yourself. Understand that simply it may not be an idea to which you are resonating.
I like the idea in a way, and then all of a sudden what happened was, the reverse side kicked in.
You kicked it in.
Okay. In any case, I wanted to ask you what your opinion as far as if it had anything to do with service of all, service of self. If it has any relevance to...
Now, are you sure you cannot tell me? Your eyes are discussing something very personal. Therefore, there have been many feelings within you according to this idea. Understand again, you are always in tune with yourself in this way. And you can know exactly when you're not harmonizing or vibrating in that way with yourself. And the idea of simply allowing an idea to unfold within the idea of service to all that is.
I wanted to ask you your opinion now.
My opinion does not mean anything for your life.
Well, you do give opinions to other people once in a while.
Not when they ask for them.
I really don't want your opinion.
Question.
Okay, let's try that again.
What is your opinion?
I see that it's a very good vehicle.
All right.
I don't see
One moment. Why is it a very good vehicle?
Because it will...
Because any vehicle is.
No, that's not true.
Any vehicle is perfect for the unfoldment of the reason that the vehicle was chosen.
Okay, but the connotation that I'm looking at is I'm looking for things that serve all.
Looking. Why do you have to search? You are limiting the idea by your search in that way.
Okay, forget that word. Okay, anyway, as I deal with the unfoldment of the idea, I see that it has a great deal of potential for people to earn substantial incomes and not really have to do too much to get it, so that they can devote their life or their energies to more what I would refer to as fun and unfoldment rather than 9-to-5 jobs. And
then understand that if that is your perception, if that becomes totally your idea of reality, it will unfold for you as well, as support of all that is automatic support for yourself.
Okay, but see, what I look at as sort of like the little downside is like if they go forth and if the cosmetic company doesn't start selling this stuff.
That's their creation.
You're predisposing the end of the outcome of your reality. You are being the skeptic that says, I told you so. And then understanding that they got exactly where they told themselves they would be. Again, when you vibrate with any idea within service to all that is in that way, it will always unfold exactly as it needs to. Understand that simply. It will always also reflect the idea that you are willing to view of yourself in that way. If, in your estimation, therefore, it should, in your terminology, not go the way you, I'll say, quote-unquote, planned, simply understand again, once again, it is not an interruption. It is exactly what you created the idea for, which will always allow you more unfoldment to create the idea of service to all that is in a more, I'll say, clear-sighted way for yourself.
Okay, so in a sense, what it does is it depends on your beliefs about reality. Now, is it possible, let's say, in a straight pyramid where you go, give me 10, and then you sell it to people, and they sell it to people, and they sell it to people who sell it to people. Now, you know that the bottom people are going to lose out, right, eventually, because they don't have anyone to sell it to.
Then you understand that going into the idea is not service to all that is.
Okay, but so, to a certain extent, you and your non-opinion don't see that happening in this thing.
Question.
Not giving his opinion.
Oh, come on.
Why do you wish me to run your life?
I just want an opinion. I have to make up my mind for myself anyway.
Go right ahead. Thank you. Understand that you have received, in exchange from us, all the communications that you need to understand the situation already. There is no extra idea that we can give to you that will make it any different other than what we have already shared with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you get angry there, Bashar, or did you reflect his frustration?
We enjoyed the interchange very much.
It's fun.
He's using the term loosely, you know. You get a warped sense of a merit. No, I'm only kidding.
Really? Yeah, really? All right, now, understand that in very many ways. In one definition of the term, there is different ideas of warping of viewpoint, yes, which represents different vibrational frequencies, which represent different realities. Allow yourself to warp into your imagination. Allow yourself to warp into the idea that you will always be supported by. Allow yourself to simply know that as you unfold within service to all that is, you will automatically be supporting yourself in that way and need not worry about the outcome of anything. For every unfoldment will always provide you with more opportunity for the enriched understanding of yourself. And you will always, in that way, in your terminology, come out ahead. Question.
Bashar, did you personally feel any frustration with that last night?
No, thank you.
You did not, okay.
Understand that the idea that you experience as trust and faith, I'll say in that way, is what we have chosen to experience, other than the idea of frustration.
In other words, you trust that eventually he's going to have.
Absolutely.
I got it. Very nice.
Everyone will always unfold exactly as they need to.
And you choose to hold the idea of trust.
Absolutely.
Very clever of you, in my estimation.
Question.
Yes, Bashar, I was thinking that this what was going on here, and it seems like what he was saying is that there is a scarcity in the all that is, but there is
scarcity.
Yes, that's what I seem to hear him saying. That there's no such a thing as scarcity. As long as we create, it'll always be there.
Very good. Question.
I have something I want to share.
All right.
Last week, talking about the negative and the positive, I observed something that I've actually observed, but without putting my finger on it before, is that people will channel. Sometimes they'll channel negative through them, or sometimes they'll channel positive through them. And what I had failed to realize before was I get kind of a fixed idea about a person in a positive way, and I would be dealing with them that way. And when suddenly they start channeling negative, I would start trying to, since I was still thinking of them in a positive way, I wasn't really looking at what was going on at the moment. I would try to you try to argue them out of it or something, right? You know, or you try to go, what in the hell are you talking about, or what's going on? You know, you just freak out. And when I spotted that this person was simply channeling channeling a negative energy, and actually wasn't even necessarily sticking to that person at all, but he was simply channeling it, if for no other reason than for my edification in understanding how to integrate the negative and the positive, then I just went, oh, okay, and it was like, just accepted that.
Very good.
Yeah, and it was great.
Then understand that at that moment you had removed completely the idea of the negative effects from yourself.
Oh, it was not only the negative effect from me, but I think also to a large degree from the other person in a way.
Very good.
Because you can tend to kind of jam up the whole cycle when you start to try and handle it as something other than an illusion.
Very good.
Yeah. Try to handle it like it's real. Yeah.
Thank you. It is in that sense can be real, but again, yes.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Question.
Bashar?
Yes.
I have a son. Of course, I'm very close to him, love him very much, that seems to be having problems now in the present time that he created about 4 years ago. And I seem to be always wanting to help him. I love him. And I was looking at imagery, if I could create such a golden dream that he wants help too. He would be with it in the creation. I don't understand imagery too well. Can it go from...
You can use feeling, but understand again, you cannot create anything to force your will upon him. Understand simply also that there may simply be the opportunity within the exchange for you to learn a few ideas about yourself, which simply may be ideas you wish to create for your reality. There will always be the reflection between any interaction of one to the other. Understand once again simply that you may simply feel the reality that you wish to be your reality, and understand therefore that that provides always in your terms the best opportunity for that individual to then perceive that such a reality might exist, and then wish to choose it by you being a reflection back to them on love and light of that reality that you yourself are, without imposing the idea of allowing them to force their will towards the idea of acceptance of any particular reality.
Thank you.
All right, you may take your break. All right, I'll say, questions?
Bashar, for some time I have been attempting to materialize an object in physical dimensionality that I could see with the same degree of clarity that I now see that tree out in front of me.
Why?
Because I want the ability to be able to do that and enjoy myself with that particular creation.
Why?
Well...
Why do you think that will be something that you need to do to experience enjoyment?
I don't. I can experience enjoyment in other ways. But that is a particular ability that I want.
All right. Do you understand the idea of what you have chosen with regard to, I'll say, the reality that you have also chosen to share?
I'm not quite sure I understand your question. I think I was saying, well, I also understand what I'm trying to share with other people. Is that the question?
Yes.
Yes, I am. Yes, I do understand what I want to share. Excitement and fun and enjoyment. But I also want to be included in it, in that particular...
You always will be.
Yes. Okay.
Again, understand there's a little bit of a separation of self in this idea from the idea. Now, to some degree, I will say simply the idea that you are concentrating upon the need for that manifestation will be again a reflection of that idea of separation.
Agreed. And I have had a number of I think I've had 15 years of cognitions regarding this, and I still can't get the goddamn sleigh to materialize when I want it to. But I keep finding out all kinds of things about myself, and that wasn't my purpose in the first place.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, I'm not so sure.
Finding out things about yourself is one of the great purposes you have chosen to be physical.
That I agree.
Then understand that each and every one of those ideas enriches your overall total idea of yourself, and in such a way will allow you to manifest more easily the reality in which what you are talking about is possible. But understand also, it will be to some degree a shared reality.
Yes. Oh, I would definitely want to share. I want to take Charlene by the hand here and walk her into the Hanging Gardens of Babylon and have lunch.
All right. But understand again. Simply this will unfold as you understand the idea. Now realize that many of the ideas at this time that you also wish to share will, I'll say, perforce that you exist within also what you term to be the one idea of here and now reality that you have chosen. Understand that what you are describing, I'll say, is very many ways similar to the idea that by your society is described as insanity. Now realize that this is again simply another viewpoint of another reality, but understand that there is always, to some degree, the conflict of the idea of wishing to experience what you also term to be insanity of another reality, and also wishing to main yourself within this reality in order to experience that idea.
Yeah, that's interesting. How are you able to do both?
Again, by understanding that what you experience as your here and now reality encompasses all realities, if you wish, in that way.
Okay. I'm willing to be insane to do that.
All right. Understand again, there will be no negative connotation upon this, and the removal of the label of insanity will be necessary from your subconscious mind.
Yeah, well, that's gone.
Oh, no. Not really.
It isn't. What do you perceive that I know?
Again, understand that if you have not also in that sense manifested naturally according to your unfoldment in a natural way, the idea of this other object that you, I'll say, perceive to be not in your reality at this time, then there is still, to some degree, again, as your reality is always a reflection of your belief, still the idea that there is, I'll say, timing involved within your relationship to the reality you experience to be the one in which you emerge as a physical consciousness.
Yeah. How many cognitions do I have to go through before I pull this thing off? It's getting a little frustrating.
One.
No, I got it. Which one? Oh, sorry.
Now, that is part of the idea. When you recognize all of these different, as you say, cognitions, not as a succession, but as one cognition from different viewpoints.
Okay, I get that concept now, and then I say, okay, do that, Raphael. And I don't seem to be able to do that.
Again, understand that there is a relationship according to the experience that you have chosen to share. You are being impatient with the idea of how the timing is unfolding.
I sure am.
That is separation from self, from the idea.
Thank you. Okay. I'm cleaning up the coffee, Sean, that I spilled in the middle of this discussion.
Very good manifestation. Was not there before. First of all, that there is great idea of teaching within this from this individual as well. Understand that the point taken is that when what you term to be the mundane is equal with the magnificent, then all will be possible.
I love it. I think we'd make a great comedy team.
Question.
Sure. You know, something seems to be really driving home today, and all that your teachings or what I'm hearing, it all comes down to trust and faith.
Very good. Faith is all there is.
Yeah.
Period.
It's like you have fears.
One moment.
I might have fears during the day, or I might have doubts or whatever, but when you continue on the line of trust and faith, and that the idea is unfolding as it should unfold, and that you are perfect.
Very good.
It all comes down to that one concept, doesn't it?
Yes. Understand that what you have termed the idea of faith is held in a very nebulous respect within your terminology. In that way, simply understand that what we term faith is simply the knowing that you are always exactly where you need to be. Therefore, everything may be explored within a joyful expression.
Yeah.
Faith is a very active idea. It is not simply the idea or symbol to be set aside as a nebulous representation. It is the active idea of knowing the self. Trust. Question.
Bashar,
Yes.
what does it take to be able to be a channel for someone of your universe or any other universe? Is there qualifications for someone in this universe to become a channel?
The agreement to be so.
That's all?
The agreement to be of service to all that is in so doing.
Is there a prior agreement?
Can be. Does not have to be. If you're willing to open yourself up to the idea of service to all that is, then you will find there will be more than enough willing consciousnesses in that way to, I'll say, form that idea with you.
There seem to be quite a few.
All right, but also understand that simply there will also be the idea as expressed towards the unfoldment of your own self within the reality that you have chosen. Now understand that to some degree this idea may simply be expressed also with the understanding that you may only need in that way to channel your own higher consciousness, realizing that it is every bit as powerful as what you hold to be the idea of an outer consciousness, which on some level is always the same consciousness, since you are all that is. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
Therefore, understand that as you make a separation between the idea of, as you say, communicating with what you perceive to be outer consciousness, as opposed to the validity of this here now present channeling of this life, of your projection of consciousness within physical reality, as you separate those two ideas, you will, in a sense, be reinforcing the idea that you will not, in that way, be of service to all that is, by making this reality less. You follow me?
I have a confusion on future and past. I find myself going both ways.
That is because your future and your past are created from your present.
Yes, I'm beginning to get the idea that I have senses of being one place and not recognizing one place from the other. In that sense, there's experience in learning, but I don't know that I have gotten the point that I started out to get.
Understand that on some level you understand the unfoldment in exactly the manner that you are supposed to for yourself. Again, understand that many times the choosing of the projection of your consciousness within physical, limited reality, as you understand the term limited, will presuppose again that you may experience the effect of the understanding within your life without the conscious knowledge.
Okay. That's very helpful. I'm beginning to get the idea here.
All right.
I also have an unfolding of, what do I want to say, relationship with another person. Now, in this universe, which is one that I have lived for many years.
Which one is that?
The physical universe.
You mean the one now or the one a few seconds ago? Or the one a few seconds from now?
Both. I mean all of that existence.
All
but
right.
The total of my experience as a physical human being.
All right.
There are certain aspects in connection with man-woman relationship. There have been many different agreements and many different areas where those relationships have taken different forms, almost opposite, throughout the time track. There is confusion with sorting out how to expand that now and in the future.
Oh, very good. There always will be confusion when you attempt in that way to sort the idea out. Imposing the idea of, again, that each and every one of those occurrences are not part of the overall unfoldment, but somehow form interruptions within your past. You follow me?
No, I don't.
Understand simply that as you use what you term to be dichotomy in that way, You are always in that way projecting any idea contained within your higher consciousness into physical reality in that way as polar opposite. Understandably, this affords the opportunity to always find yourself at the center of that creation in the same way you are at the center of the past and the future. In this way, understand that what seems to be an opposite idea is not in any way, shape, or form opposite to the unfoldment of your path. It is simply one more portion of the allowance of yourself to view other portions which can be integrated to form the forward momentum in your path of unfoldment to yourself. Therefore, if you attempt to separate the idea from the purpose of another idea, you will always find there will be confusion, since both positive and negative ideas both serve the same purpose, the integration of the self on the forward momentum of the path of unfoldment of yourself. You follow me?
Yes, I did get that. I'm looking very quickly as you're talking and recognizing many things. There have been barriers that I have put up that I did not recognize as barriers. And as I look and see these barriers, of course, they can drop away.
Very good.
So there's a new creation constantly going on.
Very good.
I'm getting there.
Getting where?
To an understanding of the direction and the actual point that I wanted to be at.
No, you're always exactly at the point you wanted to be at. And always will be, forever. There is no end. You're not striving or seeking perfection. You are perfect right now. You will always create exactly as you are creating right now in very different levels of consciousness. You will always unfold continuously.
Yes, I've been experiencing that.
Therefore, you might as well continue to enjoy.
There really is a underlying element of simply love, and I mean that in a sense of not as love, but an understanding. Oh, thank you. I do have trouble with
Not really.
sometimes, but I do know what I mean.
You have no trouble with your feeling.
Thank you.
That is what we perceive.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For allowing yourself to be so open to yourself.
Thank you.
And pretty accessible, therefore, to the sharing within all that is. Question.
Thank you very much, Bashar. I told Pat that you would pick up her feelings, and you did. That was very nice. Thank you.
Again, we always enjoy the interaction when there is the willingness to perceive the self again as all that is, and expand that concept for both of our respective consciousnesses.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Question.
Bashar, how many are those on your planet who have your job of channeling, and how many of those have the job, and how many of it are working with the Earth?
There are, as you would say at this time, I'll say, again, there will be some difficulties with your figures, but there will be several hundred which will have, in your terms, the job. There will be, in that way, I will say, at this time, not quite that number, perhaps not even quite half, which will be concerned specifically with ideas relevant to your civilization.
But you only choose 3 channels specifically that you come through.
Understanding as we do, I'll say the idea of the vibratory patterns we recognize to be the triad, in that that will be, I'll say, the minimum self-sustaining structure.
So if you wanted to, you could come through more people, if there was an agreement made.
In a sense, but understand again, it will reflect our idea of ourselves in our own energy beingness. Simply, that is the pattern which will unfold for us in that way. Question.
Is everyone on your planet in the Black League?
Realize that in that way, no one upon our planet is in what you term to be the Black League. Understand that what you term to be the Black League is, in that sense, the faction of what you term to be Orion, not of Ssani. You follow me?
I thought I had this sorted out.
Understand simply that that terminology represents, I'll say, those consciousnesses who recognize the service to all within the negative idea. Understand that in that way, simply there is connection through us by allowing, I'll say, that consciousness to act within a future life, to act backwards to your present in that sense, for the reinforcement of, in that way, the promotion of service to all that is. In that way, you may simply say, we are working with that idea, but are not contained of that idea. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
No.
Why did you say,
Because I get embarrassed not understanding.
Why? Realize that there is no need for embarrassment.
Okay.
May I assist, Bashar?
One moment.
Okay.
Simply understand that, as you may find, there will be an individual who would wish, I will say, to perform a service. They will then seek out other individuals who are also performing that service and connect with them in such a way that they may, I'll say, with regard to other individuals who will be given the choice as to what service they wish to perform, may then reinforce the idea, if they wish to choose, of that positive service. Therefore, understand that what is going to be the Black League in that way, and simply recognize what is going to be our civilization in the sense of your future self, and therefore are allowing in that way the interaction with us to be a reinforcement in your present of the idea of free will and choice. We are aiding in that way, assisting what you're going to be that league. Do you follow me?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
So essentially, all of Esasani is aiding that Black League. They're all in favor of it.
In a sense. Question.
I'd like to make a statement.
All right.
To clarify this, I think. The Black League is on the Orion, the planet of Orion.
There is no planet of Orion. There are many systems within that overall idea.
Okay, within this system there is a Black League. These are the people that are interested in service to all, those that are in the Black League, and are opposed to the general objective of the rest of the people in the Orion system.
Yes.
Domination.
Yes.
Which is domination.
Right. Now, also, Esasani is in what we might call the astral plane. Yes?
Only in a sense.
In a sense.
In fact, you understand the idea as fourth-dimensional reality at this time.
So it's a different dimension. Now, what about Orion? Are they in more or less the same reality that we are in?
Many different levels of dimensionality as well.
Would you please define the fourth dimension and relate it to the third dimension?
So we understand that to a degree it is simply a different rate of vibration, representing another idea level of experiential reality with its own, I'll say, set of parallel ideas and realities contained therein, as you understand also the, I'll say, collection of physical parallel universes that are represented to you as third-dimensional.
Understood. Thank you.
It is also to some degree the vibration that you are now, in a sense, transforming into, being all three in your understanding of the idea on the cusp between third and fourth.
Well, we're in the third dimension now. We're talking about the fourth. The ninth are the risen masters. Is that right? Is this what you're saying?
In a sense.
All right. Now, where are you on this dimension?
As we have said, fourth.
You're on fourth. Okay.
Question.
This is simply an arbitrary assignment of vibration patterns.
Very good. Yes. There is no, I'll say, idea to put forth the idea of more advanced, less advanced.
Right.
Simply the ideas to which you vibrate.
And serious? Where are they?
In that way also understand that there is within the overall idea of as you experience, I will say, the connection between your civilization, our civilization, and that civilization. Still, I'll say, the emergence of different, I'll say, reality thirds into fourths. Understand that in that way we have our ability to be between, again, third and fourth, so that we can communicate with you. Understand that they are simply of a different viewpoint. Again, transforming between the idea of third and fourth, but as you understand it on different scale. You follow me?
No. Yes.
Kind of like AM and FM.
Right? Very good.
You mean they're on the third dimension right now, transforming to the fourth?
And so are we, and so are you.
Oh. But with different ideas of
Very good.
Yeah, like how?
Like I was saying, in your terminology, the idea, again, of recognizing the overall consciousness as an integrated identity.
Right.
Mostly, as you say, like that.
That's them you're talking about? Serious?
In a sense, they simply have the idea of the recognition of all their individual consciousness, with the view also of the fourth dimensional reality in a more active sense of, I'll say, the real effect of recognizing themselves as also one consciousness.
Right. So but they aren't actively vibrating on the fourth dimension?
In a sense.
Uh-huh.
Anytime they allow themselves the recognition of that overview of themselves, they are projecting themselves in that way.
Well, so are we.
Yes, but realize that you're only beginning to be aware of it consciously.
And they've been for quite.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you say is Sirius like a future counterpart of ourselves?
Also, in a way, yes.
So are you saying that if, let's say that there's 600, I know that this is this kind of a relative way of
Right.
but if there's 600 years ahead, you might say, then that they've been going through that transformation all that time?
They will be going through the same, I will say, idea transformation within your same time period. Simply understand, again, it will be, as you say, upon a different octave.
Huh.
Is there a first dimensional reality?
In a sense.
Can you describe that to us?
Now, this will carry many ideas, or I'll say translations, into different idea understandings of different idea realities. You may simply, through one viewpoint, understand it from what you know to be mathematically. From another viewpoint, you may simply understand as the, I'll say, expression or projection of consciousness into what you term to be the idea of mineralness.
I understand. So you're looking at these things actually parallel an evolutionary track symbolically.
In a sense, yes. Question.
Now, are all the civilizations which are visiting the Earth, which would include Pleiadians and Reticulans and others, are they all bordering between the third and fourth dimension?
No.
No.
Some of them are of different understandings of dimensionality in that way. But I will say, to some degree, there will be what you experience to be the physical manifestation, more often than not, bordering within that idea of third, fourth, or even fifth.
What is that?
In a sense, you may understand the idea as a, I'll say, fourth dimensional expression of an idea reality, idea identity, still with relevant connections to the idea of your transformation regarding third to fourth.
What about Ra?
In that way, you may understand the idea as what you term to be the idea of sixth density. At this time, understanding that within the idea of sixth and seventh, there will be more the idea of the mental communication, almost exclusively.
As well as your physical manifestation?
Yes.
Where's Lazar?
I will say there will be similarity of this idea with the idea, again, of Ra, but understand also there will be some differences that will not be discussable at this time.
Yes. I understand that.
Question.
When looking at this, you're actually looking at a scale of awareness in terms of yourself, correct?
In a sense, yes.
Yes.
Question.
Sure.
Yes.
Have you heard of this entity or group that call themselves, I believe, the White Brotherhood?
To a degree.
Can you say anything about it at this time, or do you wish to? I'd like to hear it if you can.
We will simply say, briefly, again, that it is an expression, idea, collection of consciousness that is at this time, I'll say, involved in the idea of the transformation of all consciousness within the sphere that you term to be, I'll say, your planetary origin, and some other spheres of influence within what you, I'll say, understand to be your galactic, I'll say, origin, that will, I'll say, perchance again be concerned with the transformation itself and the, I'll say, expression of the freedom of choice within that transformation upon your civilization at this time.
It seems to, at least my perception of it at the moment, it seems to be a slightly different idea than what we're expressing in this group. Is that true?
Yes and no. There will be, I'll say, portions of each idea contained within the other.
Right, okay.
Question.
What kind of abilities or differences would have to occur before you were able to channel onto the planets around Orion? And what do those people who do channel into those areas, what do they have that they can get through their fields or their ideas or whatever?
Simply, I'll say the idea that they wish to vibrate according to that reality. Therefore, understand that we never need to force ourselves in that direction.
So what kind of people can, so the ones that dominate others can channel into that area?
Any sense?
And can someone channel into their underground?
Only to a degree. Understand that there will be a very different idea of that expression at this time. It will be, in a sense, what you term to be a closed cell.
A closed cell? What does that mean?
In the sense that they require their own idea of fields to allow themselves to enact, I'll say. Having come from that idea, they are in that way an isolated cell, projecting themselves outward from that influence.
So they have to project out before they get in?
In a sense.
But isn't that the same as us?
Not really. Except in the idea that they allow there to be again the formation of simply the idea of allowing that existence within love and light, and therefore offering that reality as the only opportunity that they have in that way to influence you by removing themselves from your reality, or, I'll say, agreeing to participate. And in either case, as we have said, the effect will be positive. It is simply the reinforcement of the ability of the free will to choose between whatever reality that you want, that cell chooses to be actively participating in, the reinforcement of free will.
It sounds to me as if this Black League, and I wasn't here for this Monday session, but is kind of on the defensive here in a quote-unquote inferior position.
Not really. Understand again that the idea of defense implies the need for that idea, simply that they are reinforcing the idea that they are vibrating with realities that have chosen, I'll say, the more positive effect. And simply allow themselves to reinforce by their knowledge in that way of experience with the negative effect, that the way, in that sense, to allow yourself to positive that effect, I'll say, into yourself, into your reality, without negative, I'll say, bringing that effect in, will simply be allowing yourself to vibrate within the idea of service to all that is.
But there seems to be, within this whole concept, an antagonist kind of concept and judgments of...
That is your perception. Within your terminology at the time, realize again that it will be quite different. The idea of the conflict, as you express the idea of conflict, there will not really be a conflict. There will simply be the ideas being expressed as various realities from what you term to be the association, or the understanding of the positive self, and what you term to be the Orion energy or the negative association in that way. There will simply be the offering of services from one to the other, one in a negative viewpoint, one in a positive viewpoint. It will be the offering of services, each of which will be seen in that way to be a connection to all that is, one in the service of self and isolation, and one in the service of all that is and expansion. They are both viewed as offerings equally valid within all that is. This is the nature of the idea that you express as a conflict, which is not really seen as a conflict. It is simply a matter of choice. You follow me?
Yes, I follow you. It still seems, I guess it's my perception, that the Black League has chosen that within all that is, there's some better and some not so good.
It is simply that a matter of choice. Realize again that they simply perceive that they wish to be of service to all that is. They have, in that way, manifested the change within their own physical sphere of influence, within the physical negativity, which allows them to operate in that way as an isolated cell which projects, in that way, again, the assistance or aid to those who wish it, not to those who do not. To recognize that there can be the integration in that way of the negative and positive energies, and that there need not be the idea of victimhood. There need not be the idea of being forced, and that there always may be the idea of freedom of choice.
Including victimhood.
Yes. If that is what you wish. Question.
Sure.
Yes.
Is there an organization called Fellowship?
To some degree.
Can you elaborate on it?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Sure, I'd like to examine the apparent paradox of your saying, what is going on right now is what I want to have going on, as opposed to my feeling that this is not what I want something else. And yet I can also feel that, to a degree, this is correct, this is what I want. But then, I'll say, well, no, this is not quite what I want it this way.
Again, understand that you can simply understand that you may unfold as you are unfolding without judgment. You will accept in that way, allow everything to be acceptable. And upon the moment of acceptance, it will always manifest in a positive way, which will lead you, in that sense, or attract to you those situations which will manifest and reinforce that allowing acceptance of every portion of yourself.
Thank you, I understand. Different question. On your planet, are there individuals who would like to create a large area such as we would create a resort or Disneyland? Are there such individuals who go forth to do something like that?
There are many individuals who have, I'll say, been very creative in that way.
But how do they acquire the real estate on your planet?
Simply, we understand that there are already portions set aside for that understanding.
Okay, and they simply present an idea to a committee and have the real estate given to them? Is that the way it goes?
Realize that the real estate, as you say, is not given by anyone to anyone. There are simply areas upon the planet which are set aside for that type of creativity. Then there is simply the joining of all the individuals who wish to experience that idea in a shared consciousness. And therefore there is simply the undertaking and manifestation.
So if an individual says, well, I would like to build a quote-unquote Disneyland on your planet, you would present the idea to a number of individuals and then the land would be simply available to do that? Is that how it would go?
The land is already available. Just build it.
Or he just goes there and builds it, that understanding.
With any other individual who also wishes to participate.
I understand. So he can go over here and say, okay, I'm going to build a Disneyland.
Understand that this will always be done, again, in accord to the overall understanding of the unfoldment of all that is, within the consciousness of the civilization. There will be no conflict.
So he's telepathically in agreement with everyone. Okay, very nice, thank you.
Bashar, the white brotherhood, I'm a little bit confused on this, due to the fact that with you, I am evolving the way I want to, the way I feel that I'm on the right area. I am wondering now what is happening to, did I hear you right? They are also granting you being this, letting you be as you be, and you're unfolding the all that is?
Yes.
So it's working hand in hand.
Well, that is how you unfold the all that is, by granting beingness.
Right. And so the others, the ones, the negative forces, are against this.
They have simply chosen to view the idea of the connection of themselves to all that is in such a way that what they perceive to be other selves, being simply extensions of the one self, do not need to be granted beingness, and may be simply forced to do what their will bids.
Okay.
You follow me?
Explain a little bit about the second dimension. I feel like I really need to know that.
Understand simply that, again, there will be many different interpretations of this idea, but also understand that you may perceive it in one vibrational understanding or hierarchy, although we will be, I'll say hesitant to use the word hierarchy, as it will have many interpretations for you, which will again imply better or worse. But simply understand that you may represent it again mathematically, but also in terms of the projection of consciousness and what you experience to be the animal.
Animals and plants?
In a sense.
Bashar, I would like to build a resort that I feel many, many people on this planet would really love to see be there. If I just went to a location and started building it without getting the real estate, do you think I'd get away with it?
If you think you need to get away, then you will not.
That's a good point. That's right.
Understand again. It's simply a matter of knowing that your own level of excitement will always attract you exactly to who you need to be attracted to allow it to unfold.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Allow yourself to simply live the idea. Know that it is real and know that it will unfold in its proper timing.
I am now allowing myself to live
But
life.
when you allow yourself to simply assume the idea of impatience, then really you will be keeping it from unfolding, as you will not be in that way spending all of the unfoldment time viewing what you have chosen to view. Until you allow yourself to view that unfoldment time as a part of the unfoldment process, in gaining that reality, you will always be pushing that reality farther and farther ahead as you continue to ignore the time of unfoldment and the reasons for that time of unfoldment, which always will connect into the unfoldment of that idea.
Mm-hmm.
That will be a few more minutes of your time. Questions?
Yeah.
One moment. Yes. All right.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, just slightly earlier, you were talking about when John here was talking about setting aside, and you were talking about setting aside areas, and the people who wanted to enjoy that particular thing would formulate more or less of a mass consciousness of their own, and thereby would create and enjoy that particular resort activity. And for a moment there, I saw that even on this planet, where there are people who enjoy, like Disneyland, for instance, as a resort activity, or other activities which are similar, but have enough differences that there would be different types of people that would go and enjoy that particular activity. For instance, like Magic Mountain, which has a lot of roller coasters and thrill rides like that. And I realized that each of the elements of people that go there, in their own sense, are a mass consciousness.
Very good.
And that individuals who enjoy many of these different activities are able to adapt themselves or to actually become parts of different mass consciousness at any particular given time. And so almost any idea in itself can generate, with agreement, a mass consciousness around that idea, and that we all more or less circulate in amongst different types of mass consciousness activities every day, which are different from, in other words, the day isn't just one experience, but it's many experiences of many realities.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Bashar, when I'm around someone who is negative, when I experience a lot of negativity or a lot of anger or upset, I get very frustrated sometimes and I start feeling angry. Am I experiencing this because I need to...
gives you the opportunity to look at that portion of yourself, recognizing that that idea or opportunity would not be there had you not chosen to perceive it in the first place.
Mm-hmm. So I'm teaching myself to look at that in order to just absorb it within myself so that it doesn't affect me, in other words.
It will always affect you, but understand that you may understand how to re-channel the idea in a positive effect, as opposed to judging the operation, judging the interaction, and creating the negative effect. By simply allowing yourself to view every reality as valid for the purpose it was formed. And understand that your emotionality in and of itself is not negative.
Okay. Thank you.
And I would say that, again, we always enjoy the interaction with any form of mass consciousness in that way, as you allow yourself to express within the unfoldment of each and every one of yourselves, within each and every one of your own paths, the idea that by allowing yourself to unfold, you are performing the service to all that is. That will always give validity to every path of unfoldment, and therefore will always form support for your own path in the process. therefore understand how much, how very much, all that is in that way is simply love and support. We will thank you. We will say good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.